the moment the ice-cold vodka slammed into my face at the campus bar. I genuinely thought one of my friends was pulling a shitty prank. Then the glass shattered against my forehead. You think you can just parade around town with my husband and smile in my face like nothing happened? The woman was trembling, her hand still outstretched from where she'd thrown her drink. Her eyes were wet with tears, but her jaw was set in concrete. The entire bar had gone silent, except for the bass thumping from the speakers above us. Vodka was dripping down my chin, stinging my eyes, soaking into the white blouse I bought specifically for my 4 p.m. organic chemistry presentation. I blinked at her, genuinely bewildered. "I'm sorry, what?" "Don't you dare play innocent with me." She reached into her purse and I flinched, half expecting another weapon, but she just pulled out her phone and shoved a screen in my face. That's you kissing my husband at his company picnic last month." I grabbed the phone, my hand shaking, and looked at the photo. It took me approximately 3 seconds to realize what was happening. The woman in the photo had my face. Same honey brown hair. Same almond-shaped eyes. Same slight gap between my front teeth that I've been insecure about until my mother told me it made me interesting looking in the best way. Same dimple in my left cheek when she smiled. But the outfit was wrong. The confidence was wrong. The woman in the photo was wearing a red dress cut down to there, clinging to her like she'd been poured into it. She was draped all over some middle-aged guy with a receding hairline and a watch that probably cost more than my semester tuition. "That's not me," I said quietly. "That's my sister." The woman laughed, but it came out broken. "Oh, that's original. Let me guess, you have an evil twin." "Not a twin." I handed her phone back, suddenly aware of every single person in that bar staring at us. My face was burning, and not just from the vodka. She's my older sister. We're 3 years apart, but everyone thinks we're twins. We have the same face, same hair, same everything. It's a running joke in my family. The woman just stared at me, and I watched the absolute fury in her eyes slowly, painfully, transform into something else, something that looked like grief cracking through rage. "I've been trying to find her for 3 weeks, she whispered. "I've been driving past this campus. I went through her Instagram and found photos of her at this bar. I waited here every night this week." I nodded slowly. "She's not here. She's in Cabo with her friends. She went last Monday. She won't be back until next weekend." The woman's legs gave out. She just collapsed right there in the middle of the sticky bar floor and started sobbing. The sound was horrible, deep, ugly, wrecked, the kind of crying that comes from somewhere so broken you wonder if it will ever fully heal. I looked around desperately. My friends were frozen at our booth, their eyes huge. The bartender was already walking toward us with a towel and a look that said he'd seen this before and was deeply tired of it. I knelt down next to her. Hey, I'm not her, okay? I'm really not her. But I know her, and I know what she does, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry she did this to you." The woman looked up at me, and through the mascara running down her face, through the snot and the tears, I saw her really look at me for the first time. "You don't have the same eyes," she said quietly. "She has harder eyes." I helped her up and walked her outside. My friends followed, hovering like anxious ducks, not sure they should intervene or just document the whole thing for posterity. The cold night air hit us, and I shivered, my blouse now soaked and completely ruined. "Her name is Lena," I said. "I'm Cassie. She's 29, I'm 26. We both go to this university. Well, she's here for her second master's because she can't figure out what she wants to do with her life, and I'm here for my actual degree. She's been doing this since we were teenagers. Married men, attached men, doesn't matter. She likes the chase. She likes the drama. She likes feeling like she's won something that belonged to someone else. The woman pulled a crumpled napkin from her pocket and blew her nose. His name is Derek. We've been married for 11 years. We have 2 kids. A boy, 7, and a girl, 5. He met her at the gym. She was spotting him on the bench press, apparently. It's so cliche it makes me want to vomit. I did vomit a little bit in my mouth. The gym. Of course. Lena had been really into fitness for exactly 3 months last spring, and I remembered her bragging about all the Boer housewives' husbands she was meeting there. I found the messages, the woman continued. Derek's an idiot. He didn't even delete them. She sent him videos, pictures, and she knew. She knew about the kids. She knew about me. In one of the messages, she asked if he could bring the kids to their next date because she loves little ones and it wouldn't be suspicious. My stomach dropped. She did what? He brought them to a park. She met them. She played on the swings with my daughter while my husband watched. My daughter came home and told me she met Daddy's pretty friend, and I thought she meant a co-worker. It took me 2 weeks to figure out the truth. I wanted to throw up. I wanted to find my sister and shake her until her teeth rattled. I wanted to go back in time and tell my parents that the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, the one who got away with everything because she was spirited and just having fun, was actually a monster wearing my face. I'm so sorry. I said again, because what else could I say? I don't know what else to tell you, except that I'm not her. I've never been her. I'm in a relationship with a woman named Jamie who works at a veterinary clinic and volunteers at the animal shelter on weekends. I'm boring. I'm so boring it hurts. I do my homework, and I go to the gym, and I watch documentaries about penguins. I am the most boring person you will ever meet. The woman laughed. It was wet and shaky, but it was a laugh. You're not boring. You're just not a disaster. My sister is disaster enough for both of us. She introduced herself as Patricia. Trish. We sat on a bench outside the bar for an hour, and she told me everything. How she met Derek at 19. How they built a life together. How she thought they were happy until she found a receipt for a hotel in his pocket, and her entire world collapsed. How she'd been driving herself crazy trying to find Lena, convinced that if she could just confront her, just make her see what she'd done, something would change. She won't care, I told her honestly. She genuinely won't. She's not capable of it. I love my sister because she's my sister, but she's not a good person. She's never been a good person. She flirts with her friends' boyfriends to prove she can. She sleeps with married men because it makes her feel powerful. She doesn't see you as a person. She sees you as an obstacle. Trish nodded slowly. I think I knew that. I think I just needed to hear someone say it. I gave her my phone number before we left. I don't know why. Maybe because I felt like I owed her something. Maybe because I knew, deep down, that this wasn't over. The next 3 days were a nightmare. My scalp hurt where Trish had grabbed me when she threw the drink. She'd gotten a handful of hair and yanked hard enough that I still had tender spots when I washed it. The bruise on my forehead from the glass was a lovely shade of purple-green that my organic chemistry professor politely didn't mention, but definitely stared at during my presentation. Lena wasn't answering her phone. She'd posted 17 photos on Instagram of herself in a bikini, holding cocktails, making duck face at the camera. In every single one, she looked happy and carefree and utterly oblivious to the fact that our family was about to explode. I called her 12 times. She sent me to voicemail 11 times and texted me once. On Valkyrie. Talk went him back. Hugs and kisses. I wanted to reach through the phone and strangle her. By Thursday, I'd worked myself into such a state of anxiety that Jamie sat me down on our couch, handed me a mug of tea, and said, "You need to tell your parents before she gets back and spins this." I knew she was right. I just hated it. My parents adored Lena. They'd always adored Lena. She was a firstborn, the miracle baby after years of trying, the one who got straight A's without trying, who was valedictorian, who had a million friends and a million stories and a million excuses for why her life never quite worked out the way it should. She'd been fired from 4 jobs, burned through 2 master's degrees, and had more failed relationships than I could count. But my parents still looked at her like she was made of sunshine. I was the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who paid her own bills and showed up on time and never caused any trouble. And I knew with absolute certainty that if I told them what happened, they'd find a way to blame me for it. But I told them anyway. I drove to their house on Friday afternoon. My mom was in the kitchen, making her famous chocolate chip cookies, the kind she only made when she was stressed about something. My dad was in the living room, watching golf on TV and pretending he wasn't retired and bored out of his mind. They both looked up when I walked in, and I saw them register the bruise on my forehead. "What happened to you?" Mom asked, already reaching for me. I sat down at the kitchen table and told them everything. The bar, the drink, the photo, Trish, the kids, the fact that Lena had been sleeping with a married father of 2 for months and hadn't bothered to mention it to anyone. When I finished, the kitchen was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. Dad spoke first. "Is she lying?" I stared at him. "Dad, I have a bruise on my face. A woman threw a drink at me in public because she thought I was Lena. Do you think I'm making this up for fun?" No, I didn't mean..." He rubbed his face tiredly. "I meant, is Lena lying? About this? Could there be some kind of misunderstanding?" "There's no misunderstanding. I saw the messages." "Well, Trish saw the messages. Lena admitted it to me. She's been doing this for years. Dad, you know she has. You just don't want to see it." Mom sat down heavily across from me. Her hands were shaking slightly. "Cassie, that's a very serious accusation." "It's not an accusation. It's a fact, and it's not the first time. Remember when she slept with Mr. Henderson, the neighbor? His wife came to our house and screamed at Mom for an hour. Dad winced. That was different. She was young. She made a mistake. She was 25. She's almost 30 now. At what point does it stop being a mistake and start being a pattern?" Neither of them had an answer for that. I left their house feeling hollow. I'd done what I needed to do. I'd told them the truth. What they did with it was up to them. Lena came back from Cabo on Sunday. I know because she showed up at my apartment at 9 p.m. without warning, banging on the door like the police were after her. Jamie was already in bed. She had an early shift at the clinic. So I opened the door with murder in my eyes and dragged Lena into the hallway before she could wake anyone up. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I hissed. "It's 9 o'clock at night. People sleep." Lena looked amazing, which made me want to hit her even more. She was tan, glowing, wearing a white sundress that probably cost more than my rent. Her hair was longer than mine now. She'd gotten extensions in Mexico, apparently. And she smelled like expensive coconut sunscreen. "Cassie, listen, I need you not tell Mom and Dad about." "I already told them." She froze. Her perfect tan face went slightly gray. "You what?" "I told them everything. The married man, the kids, the wife throwing a drink in my face because she thought I was you. The fact that you ignored my calls for a week while I was dealing with the aftermath of your choices. I told them all of it." Lena's eyes narrowed. "You had no right. I had every right. I got attacked because of you. I have a bruise on my face because of you. I spent a week stressed out of my mind because of you. You don't get to go on vacation and pretend like your actions don't have consequences." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Consequences? What consequences?" "Some random woman threw a drink at you. big deal. It's not like you got arrested or something. Her name is Patricia. She has 2 kids. Your boyfriend, excuse me, her husband, brought those kids to meet you at a park. You played on the swings with his daughter. Do you even remember that? Do you even care? Something flickered in Lena's eyes. For just a second, I saw a crack in the perfect facade. Then it was gone. That's not my fault. He's the one who brought them. I didn't ask to meet his kids. You didn't stop it either. You didn't say, hey, maybe don't expose your children to your mistress. You just went along with it because you don't care about anyone except yourself. Lena crossed her arms. Wow, you're really judging me hard right now. You, who's never done anything wrong in your entire perfect little life. You who's never taken a risk or had any fun or done anything except play it safe with your boring girlfriend and your boring degree. You don't get to stand there and act like you're better than me. I'm not acting. I am better than you. Not because I'm perfect, but because I would never intentionally hurt someone the way you do. I would never look at another person's pain and feel nothing. I would never. I stopped because I was about to cry, and I refused to cry in front of her. Lena stared at me for a long moment. Then she shrugged, flipped her hair over her shoulder, and said, well, this has been fun, but I have to go. Mom and Dad are waiting for me. She turned and walked away, her sandals clicking on the hallway floor, and I watched her go with a sick feeling in my stomach. She was going to spin this. She was going to walk into my parents' house with her tan and her extensions and her practiced smile, and she was going to make me the villain somehow. And she did. I found out the next day from my mom, who called me sounding exhausted and confused. She says you're exaggerating, that the woman was his ex-girlfriend, not his wife, that the kids weren't his, they were friends of hers. She says you've always been jealous of her, and you're trying to make her look bad. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It was either laugh or scream. Mom, come on. You know that's not true. I know, honey. I know, but she's very convincing. She's always convincing. That's her whole thing. She convinces people to believe whatever she wants them to believe, and then she moves on to the next person and does it all over again. Mom was quiet for a moment. Your father and I don't know what to do anymore. We love her, but we're tired. We're so tired, Cassie. I know, Mom. I'm tired too. That was the moment I decided to stop. Stop trying to fix Lena. Stop trying to make my parents see the truth. Stop putting energy into someone who would never, ever change. I told Trish what happened. We'd been texting on and off. She'd send me a photo of her kids playing in the backyard, and I'd send her a photo of the bruise on my forehead with the caption, "Souvenir from our first date." It was dark humor, but it helped. She responded quickly. I'm sorry your sister is like that. I'm sorry your parents can't see it, but I'm glad you can see it. That's more than most people ever get. I thought about that a lot over the next few weeks. About how lucky I was to see Lena clearly. About how many people never do. They spend their whole lives tangled up with someone who hurts them, making excuses, believing the lies, hoping for change that never comes. I saw her. I knew her. And that meant I could protect myself from her. It didn't mean it didn't hurt. 6 months passed. Lena got a new job, something in marketing, I think, and a new apartment downtown. She dated a few people, none of them married as far as I knew, and I let myself hope that maybe she'd grown up. Maybe the Trish situation had scared her straight. Maybe she was finally ready to be a normal human being. I was wrong. I found out at Christmas. We were all at my parents' house. Me, Jamie, my parents, Lena, and Lena's new boyfriend. His name was Marcus. He was young, maybe 23, with a baby face and nervous hands, and a smile that suggested he had no idea what he'd gotten himself into. Lena announced it during dessert. We're pregnant. The room went silent. My mom's fork clattered onto her plate. My dad's face went through about 17 different emotions in 3 seconds. Jamie squeezed my hand under the table. Marcus looked terrified. We're happy about it. We're happy. Lena smiled her perfect smile and rubbed her still flat stomach. Due in June. Isn't it exciting? Our first baby. Mom, you're going to be a grandma. My mom's voice was strained. Lena, honey, that's a lot to process. You've only been together a few months. For months, Marcus offered weakly. 5 in February. See, Lena beamed. Plenty of time. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I just sat there, watching the scene unfold, feeling like I was watching a car crash in slow motion. Marcus was clearly not ready to be a father. Lena was clearly not ready to be a mother. And my parents were clearly not ready to deal with any of it. But Lena didn't care about any of that. She was getting what she wanted: attention, drama, a new role to play. The pregnant girlfriend. The future mother. She'd be the center of every conversation for the next 6 months. And she'd love every second of it. I excused myself to the bathroom and sat on the edge of the tub, breathing slowly, trying not to scream. Jamie found me a few minutes later. You okay? No. Yes. I don't know. She's going to make your parents' lives hell. I know. And she's going to use that baby to manipulate everyone. I know. And there's nothing you can do about it. I looked up at her. I know. Jamie sat down next to me and put her arm around my shoulders. We can't control her. We can only control how much we let her affect us. And I think maybe it's time to set some boundaries. I leaned into her. Like what? Like not going to your parents' house when she's there. Like not answering her calls when she's in crisis mode. Like protecting ourselves from the chaos so we can actually live our lives. She's my sister. She's toxic, and you can love her from a distance without letting her destroy you. I knew she was right. I'd known it for years. I just hadn't been ready to admit it. The pregnancy was, predictably, a disaster. Lena moved back in with my parents because her apartment wasn't baby safe, and Marcus's place with his parents was too crowded. She quit her job because the stress was bad for the baby. She spent her days lying on my parents' couch, ordering my mom around, and posting pregnancy photos on Instagram with captions like, "Counting down the days until I meet my little miracle." My mom, who had her own health problems, high blood pressure, bad knees, the kind of exhaustion that comes from years of taking care of everyone except herself, was now cooking 3 meals a day for Lena, doing her laundry, running to the store at midnight for pickles and ice cream. My dad was working extra shifts to help pay for baby supplies because Lena had burned through her savings and Marcus's part-time job at a hardware store wasn't cutting it. I visited as little as possible. When I did, I kept conversations short and left early. I could feel myself getting angry every time I saw Lena sprawled on the couch watching TV, while my mom hobbled around the kitchen with a dish towel in her hands. You know she's doing this on purpose, right? I said to my mom one afternoon. She's perfectly capable of taking care of herself. She just doesn't want to. My mom sighed. I know, honey, but what am I supposed to do? She's my daughter. She's carrying my grandchild. I can't just let her struggle. She's not struggling. She's exploiting you. Maybe, but she's still my daughter. I wanted to shake her. I wanted to scream. But I knew it wouldn't change anything. My parents had spent 30 years enabling Lena, and they weren't going to stop now just because I pointed out how unhealthy it was. So I did what Jamie suggested. I set boundaries. I stopped visiting when Lena was there. I stopped answering calls that were obviously just Lena wanted to complain about something. I stopped letting myself get dragged into the drama. It helped. A little. The baby was born in June. A girl. They named her Sophia. I went to hospital to see her because, despite everything, she was my niece. She was innocent. She didn't ask to be born into this mess. She was beautiful, tiny and perfect, with a full head of dark hair and Lena's same almond-shaped eyes. I held her for a few minutes and felt something complicated twist in my chest. Love, definitely, but also fear. Fear for what her life would be like. Fear for what Lena would do to her. Lena was already back to her old self, holding court in the hospital room like she'd just given birth to the next Messiah. Marcus hovered in the corner, looking overwhelmed and slightly nauseous. My mom was crying happy tears. My dad was taking photos with his phone, his hands shaking. "She's perfect," Lena said, looking at me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Isn't she perfect?" "She's beautiful," I said honestly. "Maybe she'll look like you when she grows up. We already look so much alike, you and me. Maybe she'll be the third generation of identical faces." The thought made my stomach turn. Not because I didn't want to share a face with my niece. I didn't care about that. But because the idea of Lena raising a miniature version of us, of teaching her all the wrong lessons, of passing on all her toxic habits and manipulative tricks, it was horrifying. I handed the baby back and made an excuse to leave. Jamie was waiting in the car, and I cried the whole way home. 2 years passed. 2 messy, complicated, exhausting years. Lena and Marcus broke up when Sophia was 8 months old. Marcus finally grew a spine and realized he couldn't spend his life being bossed around by someone who treated him like a servant. He moved back in with his parents and fought for joint custody. He won, somehow, because Lena's reputation had finally caught up with her. The judge had access to police records, and Lena's name appeared in enough domestic disturbance calls that shared custody seemed like the safer option. My parents were devastated. Not because they'd missed Marcus. They liked him fine, but understood why he left. But because it meant more work for them. Lena couldn't handle a baby on her own. She'd never handled anything on her own. So she moved back in with them permanently, bringing Sophia and all her chaos with her. I visited on weekends. Sometimes, when I knew Lena would be out, I'd play with Sophia in the backyard, push her on the swings, read her stories. She was a sweet kid, smart and curious, with Lena's looks but something softer underneath. I hoped that softness would survive. Trish and I stayed in touch. She got divorced, finally, after years of legal battles and Derek trying to weasel out of child support. She got full custody of the kids, and Derek got supervised visitation after the judge saw those audio recordings he'd sent Lena with his kids in the background. Trish sent me a photo of the divorce decree with the caption, "Free at last," and I sent back a photo of my middle finger with the caption, "Congratulations." We met for coffee once, about a year after the drink-throwing incident. She looked different, lighter, happier, like someone who'd survived a war and was finally learning to enjoy peace. Her kids were with their grandparents, so we had a whole hour to just talk. "I still feel bad about hitting you," she said. "I know I apologize a million times, but I still think about it. You didn't deserve that." I know I didn't, but I also know why it happened. And honestly, if I were in your position, I might have done the same thing. Not to the wrong person, obviously, but I get the rage. I get wanting to hurt someone who hurt you that badly. She nodded slowly. It's weird, isn't it? How we ended up friends because of this. Is it weird? Yeah, but also kind of beautiful, in a messed up way. She laughed. You're definitely not your sister. Thank you. I think. We finished our coffee and promised to stay in touch. We did mostly. Occasional texts, birthday wishes, the kind of friendship that doesn't require constant maintenance but is still real. Sophia turned 3 last month. I went to her birthday party because my mom begged me to. It was held at my parents' house, which meant it was held at Lena's house, which meant I spent the entire afternoon with my jaw clenched and my patience fraying. Lena was in full form. She got a new boyfriend. Some guy named Trevor who looked about 22 and had the kind of vacant expression that suggested he wasn't long for this world. She'd also got a new job, or claimed she had, though no one was quite sure what it was. She spent most of the party taking selfies and ignoring Sophia, who was running around with frosting on her face and a desperate look in her eyes that broke my heart. I played with Sophia for most of the afternoon. We did puzzles. We read books. We ate cake, and she told me, very seriously, that pink was her favorite color because it's the color of princesses and also strawberries. When it was time to leave, she hugged my legs and said, "Aunt Cassie, will you come back tomorrow?" I knelt down to her level. "I can't come back tomorrow, sweetie, but I'll come back soon. I promise." "Okay." She hugged me again, tight, and I felt something crack in my chest. On my way out, I passed Lena in the kitchen. She was leaning against the counter, scrolling through her phone, while my mom washed dishes and my dad swept the floor. "Leaving already?" Lena asked, not looking up. "Yep. Say hi to Jamie for me." "I will." I almost made it out the door. Almost. But then Lena's voice stopped me. "You know, you could try to be nicer to me. I'm your sister. We share DNA. We share a face. We're connected whether you like it or not." I turn around. "We share DNA. That's it. We don't share values. We don't share morals. We don't share anything except a genetic predisposition to have the same cheekbones. And I'm okay with that." Lena finally looked up. Her eyes were hard. "You've always thought you were better than me. I don't think I'm better than you. I think I'm different from you. There's a distinction. You judge me constantly. I judge your actions. There's also a distinction." She opened her mouth to respond, but my mom cut in. "Lena, let her go. It's late." Lena snapped her mouth shut and went back to her phone. I walked out the door and didn't look back. I'm writing this now, sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee and a sleeping cat in my lap. Jamie's inside, making breakfast. The sun is coming up over the trees, and everything is quiet. My life is small, and I love it. I have a job I enjoy. I'm a lab technician at a biotech company. Nothing glamorous, but steady and interesting. I have a girlfriend who makes me laugh and holds me when I cry and never tries to fix me, just loves me. I have friends who show up and parents who try, even when trying is hard. I have a niece I adore and worry about and hope for. I don't have a close relationship with my sister. I don't think I ever will. And I've made peace with that. Some people are toxic. Some people are broken in ways that can't be fixed. Some people will spend their whole lives hurting others and never once stop to ask why. Lena is one of those people. I've accepted that. I've stopped expecting her to change. I've stopped hoping for a miracle. I've also stopped feeling guilty about it. My therapist, yes, I have one, and she's amazing, told me something once that stuck. She said, "You can love someone and still protect yourself from them. You can wish them well and still wish they were far away. Those things aren't mutually exclusive." She was right. I love Lena because she's my sister and I can't help it. But I also keep my distance because I have to. Because if I don't, she'll pull me into her chaos and I'll drown. Sophia texts me sometimes. She's 12 now, old enough to have a phone, old enough to reach out on her own. She tells me about school, about her friends, about the fights her mom starts with everyone. She tells me she misses me. She tells me she wishes she could live with me. I don't know what to do with that. I can't save her. I can't rescue her from a situation I'm not part of. All I can do is be there, be consistent, be the aunt who shows up and listens and loves her unconditionally. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it's not. but it's all I've got. Trish and I still talk. She remarried a few years ago. A nice guy named Carlos who works as a high school teacher and coaches soccer on weekends. Her kids are teenagers now, moody and wonderful and full of attitude. She sends me photos sometimes, and I send her photos of Sophia, and we marvel at how weird life is. You never know where things will end up, she said to me once. If you'd told me 10 years ago that I'd be friends with the sister of the woman who ruined my marriage, I would have laughed in your face. Life's weird like that. The best kind of weird. I agree. So here's where I land. After all these years, after all this drama, after all the chaos my sister's wrought. I don't hate her. I wish I could sometimes. It would be easier. Hate is clean. Hate is simple. Hate doesn't leave room for the complicated mess of love and disappointment and hope and grief that comes with loving someone who hurts you. I don't forgive her either. Not because I'm holding a grudge, but because forgiveness implies she's asked for it. She hasn't. She doesn't think she's done anything wrong. She's a hero of her own story, always has been, always will be. You can't forgive someone who doesn't believe they need forgiving. I've just let go. Let go of the expectation that she'll change. Let go of the hope that she'll suddenly become the sister I wanted. Let go of the guilt that I should try harder, be more patient, give more chances. I've let go, and in letting go, I've found peace. My parents are older now, slower, more tired. They still enable Lena, still bail her out, still drop everything when she calls. It frustrates me, but I've stopped trying to change them too. They're products of their generation, their beliefs, their endless capacity for love that sometimes looks like blindness. I can't fix them any more than I can fix her, so I love them from a distance. I visit when I can. I call on Sundays. I send photos of my life, my small, beautiful life, and I hope they're proud of me. Sophia graduates high school next year. She wants to go to college out of state, as far from her mother as possible. I've been saving money for her since she was born, a secret count Lena doesn't know about. It's not much, but it's something. It's a start. When she leaves, I'll be there. I'll help her pack. I'll drive her to the airport. I'll wave goodbye and cry and hope with everything I have that she makes it out. And maybe, someday, she'll look back on all of this and understand. Understand why her aunt kept her distance. Understand why her mother is the way she is. Understand that love is complicated and family is messy and survival sometimes means letting go. Or maybe she won't. Maybe she'll carry her own scars, her own confusion, her own complicated feelings. That's okay, too. That's life. I look down at my coffee. It's cold. The cat has woken up and is staring at me with that judgmental look cats have perfected. Inside, Jamie is singing along to the radio. Something pop and cheerful and completely wrong for her voice. I smile. This is my life. Small and quiet and mine. Not perfect, not dramatic, not anything worth posting on social media. But real, solid, good. And that's enough. That's more than enough.